JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Pride of the Jaguars, Fred Taylor, bring you highlights and analysis from today's game. Jaguars Postgame is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, and by Everbank. Now, to get things started, here's JP Shadrick.
Welcome in, Jaguars Postgame, presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags win in Week 1 with a final score of 31-21 over the Indianapolis Colts. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton, in for Mike Dempsey. Fred Taylor is on the line with us down in South Florida. And, you know, they don't come pretty sometimes, especially in Week 1, Fred, but this one came at the very end, and the Jaguars found a way to outlast the Indianapolis Colts in Week 1. Thank goodness. What a win, Fred. We've lost Fred. We'll get back
I'll do
to
my
Fred.
best Fred
Yeah, what do you think, Brian?
Impression. Yeah, it was. They were resilient. You know, it was flipped. We thought that the offense would come in today and play really good against a Colts secondary that really, it's young. I mean, they had, 3 or 4 starts on the corners, and yet that wasn't what happened. And we wondered about the defense against a rookie quarterback who is a really mobile guy. And we needed to see some things. Well, the defense played really well. I mean, pressure, sacks, turnovers. They were outstanding on third down. The Colts had converted 1 of 9 until that final drive when the Jaguars were playing off the ball. And they were only 1 of 5 on their fourth down opportunities. Tyson Campbell came up with, the game-sealing interception, and they had the goal line stand there at the very end. So the defense played really well. The offense, quite honestly, I thought they looked anxious early on. Doug told you that, he wanted them to calm down and not carry the weight of expectations. It looked like they were dragging those expectations around early, and they just couldn't get into a rhythm. And the offensive line, I thought, really struggled until, about 10 minutes left in the game. They couldn't solve DeForest Buckner and company. They struggled to create running lanes, and there seemed to be pressure on Trevor all day long. So, great. You get the win, got some questions, typical opening weekend.
Yeah, Fred Taylor, let's try him again on the phone. And, hey, all around, Jags figured out a way in the last part of this game to get it done. Fred, good afternoon. Fred, are you there? Well, we'll try to get Fred a little bit later. There's a lot of strange things that did happen in this game, by the way. The giveaway, the Lawrence sack fumble, and Bigsby holding the ball. He gets stripped from behind. It's returned for a touchdown by DeForest Buckner. That gave him a 21-17 lead at that point in the third quarter. Just a play you don't see too often.
And no, you don't. And he'll learn. But Bigsby also with the other play with the interception where he stuck a hand up and batted it, and the defensive back was in the right spot at the right time, and then he got the touchdown, which was good to see him at the end. It was a strange day. Phone is blowing up, emails and texts. What's going on? They finally, when the game was on the line, they did what they did last year over that final stretch, JP, and they found a way to make enough plays to get the job done. So give them credit for that. That's not what we expected. We didn't want to see the cardiac cats this year. We thought we would see an explosive offense. They got 31 points. Great. That's exactly where Doug Peterson said they wanted to be, but they didn't dominate the action.
Calvin Ridley, first half, 7 catches. Second half, only 1 reception in the second half of this game.
And I kept thinking they'd get Christian Kirk involved. I kept thinking that the coverage would slide towards Ridley and Kirk would be open. And he may have been, and there just wasn't enough time for Trevor to be able to set his feet and find him.
Travis Etienne on the ground finished with 77 yards rushing, 18 attempts, 4.3 per carry, and a touchdown at the end of the game, too. So
nice to see him.
It was.
He was bottled up, and he looked to the outside, and he hit the Jets, and away he went. I thought he ran hard today. I mean, really hard. And it was tough sledding for most of the day. Those linebackers, Zaire Franklin was everywhere.
All over the place.
Oh, I mean, he looked like Shaq Leonard did when Shaq was a young player. And he made a bunch of plays, especially on fourth down.
He had 18 tackles today. Franklin did.
He was good. We knew that this front seven for the Colts was good. I thought the Jaguars were more than up to the challenge. I thought they would be better. And today, quite frankly, they weren't. It didn't help when you lose Brandon Scherff to the ankle injury.
Yep.
he went back in, he came back out. We'll have to wait and see where he's at on that. I thought Anton Harrison struggled at times. It's a different game on opening day. And Walker Little, that penalty was it was a killer because it was a big gain to Calvin. And instead, now you're backed up. It was part of that third quarter, JP. Mm-hmm. Remember we talked at halftime? Get some rhythm going, get a touchdown, put this thing beyond their reach. And they came out and they went, 3 and out, and then they settled for a field goal, and then there was a turnover. And the third quarter was just stub your toe, stub your toe, stub your toe. Yeah. And then the fourth quarter, they finally found some rhythm.
Defensively, Josh Allen, 10 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 quarterback hits on top of that. And what a day. Let's go to Indianapolis. Bucky Brooks is standing by. Speaking of defense, Foye Oluokun led the team with 12 tackles. He's with Bucky. Go ahead, Buck.
Foye, great win for you guys. What did you guys take from last year to help y'all win today?
That we can win in the fourth quarter. It might be ugly, but we gritty, not pretty. As long as we, keep them out of the end zone in the fourth quarter, keep taking advantage of our opportunities, offense going to click eventually. So really just fight to the end, no matter what it looks like. Just keep fighting. We're a whole team of fighters. It might not always look how we want it to, but we keep fighting all the way to the end. We saw a lot of games go our way. End of the year last year, kind of continue that same momentum this year.
So you guys finished with 4 fourth down stops.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, man, you talk about the money down, but critical downs. What is it like to have the toughness and the resilience to be able to get off the field on fourth down?
It's just what's called upon us to do. Win first and second down, make that fourth down a little further. Just execute, really. That's what we were talking about assignment football the whole week, just executing our X's and O's. We kind of knew what play, like from the Eagles game, what kind of basic plays they might run. Looks that we hadn't seen, we adjusted to. It's about effort, getting off on fourth down, getting somebody in the quarterback space, make them throw hot maybe. If it's a run, make sure our gaps are held. You're going to pull it, let's say we get to the ball, tackle it. It's do or die on fourth, so it was a good job, showing that resiliency, getting off the field.
One thing I noticed when I was standing on the sideline, you guys never panicked. There was a sense of calm throughout the game that y'all were going to figure out a way to get it done. Where does that come from?
We've been through it. It's like a lot of people talking about we didn't really bring a lot of new guys in, so we've been through it all last year. We saw when it didn't go our way. We saw it go our way towards the end of the year. So it's just one of those games again. We knew it was going to come down to the end of the game. Offense going to pull through for us one time as long as we keep giving them the ball back. It's just, do what we're supposed to do, and things will work out.
Last one, going into next week, you guys play Kansas City. They come to the house. What can you take from the lessons of this game to help you next week?
Keep that same resiliency. Let's be a little cleaner on plays. And really, we're going the 2 games we played last year. I mean, they already know it. They came off a loss. They probably think they shouldn't have lost last week. We came off of 2 losses last year. We're ready to play.
Man, let's get it on. Congratulations on the win today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's Foye Oluokun with Bucky Brooks in Indianapolis. We'll take our first time out. We're still out to Bucky and Indy. Doug Peterson scheduled to swing by as well. We'll get the thoughts of the head coach after a win in Week 1, 31-21. It's Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's 2.7-liter high-output turbo engine, delivering 430 pounds per foot of torque with no compromised durability. Impressive power, whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends.
Thanks!
This is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And most importantly, this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today for a test drive. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning today. Get up to $1,750 back and a free Nest thermostat when Florida Home buys back your old inefficient HVAC system. Expert technicians and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Florida Home today. Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
FloridaHomeAC.com.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Milquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from
Okay. Yeah, right there you go. Yeah. All right. He's well thought out. Possibly. You know, so things that we can control. All of us have to be accountable, including myself there.
You said that play callers can sometimes get stymied, yourself. If press gets into that situation, or is it where you can jump back in and call plays, or is your plan to really not contribute to that?
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I've got a lot of faith in Press and a lot of confidence in him and what he's done in our past, and we're 1-0 with him.
Overall assessment, despite the mistakes you mentioned, getting out of week 1 of the win.
I think it's huge. I mean, we haven't done so well down here, in obviously in past history, and I thought the guys battled for 4 quarters. They played hard. They played tough. The things that we can clean up are obviously we will, in all 3 phases. But it was that type of football game. I've been around this league a long time to know that you go on the road, division opponent, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a battle. And, my hat's off to our guys in that locker room for sticking it out for the 4 quarters and pulling this one out.
Can you talk about how important Jamal Agnew's return was, the 47-yarder?
Yeah, it was obviously I think he got a great hop, a great bounce off the turf, but just he's so smart. We got a lot of confidence in him, and obviously give him the freedom to make those decisions because he usually does the right thing. So great return. We had some great blocks there, and really set us up in good field position.
Calvin's debut for you guys in the regular season, how obviously his production's pretty good, but from your vantage point.
Yeah, overall, without really looking at the tape, just kind of going back on memory, I thought he did some really nice things. Had a couple explosive plays there, and the touchdown off this kind of the scramble, and I thought he really did a good job. Things we can clean up, but overall, pretty good for us, and just one of the weapons that Trevor can use. It's what you have to do that, and you got to continue to stick with that. And again, it's Phil Rauscher, the O-line coach, obviously Press, and the offensive staff just trusting in that and sticking with to our guns as far as the run game goes. And TJ, heck of a run, bouncing it out to the outside there and finishing that, and then Tank's big run inside the 5 I thought was just a great run, for him to get us the first down there and eventually score. So, you just got to stick with it, trust the guys, and you get runs like that.
Speaking of Tank, was that weird play where Trevor was called for a fumble and maybe Tank didn't really realize it, and then the Colts ended up getting a touchdown out of it? But then Tank comes back and scores a go-ahead touchdown. Did you or anybody else kind of give him a little bit of extra boost after the touchdown?
Those. It's interesting because if you go in there and ask every offensive player right now, they'll tell you exactly what we talk about on Thursdays, and we talk about getting on every loose ball, and for some reason we all kind of froze, and it's obviously a learning moment, for Tank, for the offense, for the guys, but for a young player to come back like he did and have those tough runs, late in the game, I think is a credit to him and the ability to shake off a negative play.
Scherff tried to come back in. What was he kind of fighting through?
Yeah, I think it's his right ankle. He was evaluated on the sideline. He said he could probably go, but just couldn't brace and anchor and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to risk anything further. We'll evaluate him obviously when we get back, and I'll probably have an update for you tomorrow further.
Defensively, it seemed like a lot of good things. What did you see out of your defense?
I thought some great things. We knew coming in that this quarterback, Anthony Richardson, is a big, strong, powerful guy, and he showed that a little bit today. But I thought our defense really held in there, did a nice job getting them off the field on third down. We kind of exchanged some fourth downs in the football game, which we have to get better at, and obviously none bigger than the goal line stand at the end of the game. But creating takeaways, we talk a lot about. They did that, and really, really kept us in this football game the whole day.
Josh Allen really was physical. It seemed like 3 sacks and had a nice tackle behind the line on run. What did you see out of Josh?
Yeah, I thought Josh really came into this game, focused, energized, ready to get the season off, on the right foot for himself. Played well. Again, like you said, played physical. And it was good to see. It was good to see from him, and obviously a leader of the football team and the defense, and just pleased by how he performed today.
What did you learn about your team in this first game? A game where, a lot of mistakes, right? But you guys were able to finish, showing that resiliency from your vantage point. What did you maybe gather about maybe your identity of this team early on?
Week 1 of the regular season, even week 2, week 3, you're still trying to figure out kind of who you are and what you want to be as a team. And you're not a well-oiled machine going into week 1, and that was obviously on display today. But this team, I learned a lot last year with this team, and playing for 4 quarters and learning how to finish, learning how to win. That showed up today. And that's a great sign, with our guys in that locker room that no matter what happens, I tell them all the time, there's going to be adversity in a game, right? You're going to give up scores, you're going to give up plays, whatever it is. There's going to be takeaways, all this kind of stuff, but it's just how you respond, and they just kind of picked up where they left off last year, with that, and put together a good 4-quarter game. All right, thank you.
Star at that moment.
He took it on a bounce, right? I mean, he stopped it from going any further, and then has the speed to get to the corner and a good block out there to get him down the sideline.
Well, it goes to show you, there are lots of answers for this football team, right? There are lots of different players that can step up and make a play. Whether it's a Calvin Ridley, at some point you get the guy who led your team back in the game, as a receiver last year. He only had 1 catch today, Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
But then you have Agnew, Travis Etienne with a 26-yard touchdown.
Let's go back to Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson standing by with Bucky Brooks.
Hey, Coach, your initial thoughts on the big win today in Indy?
Wasn't pretty, but we got the win. And, this team this team shows a lot of guts, a lot of toughness, resiliency to play a 60-minute football game. Always tough coming down here, on the road. It's week 1, and you're not a well-oiled machine yet, and there were plenty of mistakes to go around in all 3 phases and things that we can coach off of and clean up. But just happy and proud. Our guys stuck with it. Coaches stuck with the plan. And we came away with the win.
It's funny, in your pregame interview with JP, you talked about it takes like a few weeks to figure out, your identity to become a well-oiled machine. So what do you take from today to work on next week to get ready to be a better version of yourselves?
Yeah, that's the thing is that, the things in the game today are all things that we can control. Some of the takeaways, right? We got to be a better stewards of hanging on to the football, right? Some of the mental mistakes are things that we can clean up, obviously on film, tomorrow, and then this week in practice, and just being able to just show the guys, and they, you walk away from a game like this, yeah, you're replaying, every play in your head, and all the good ones and the bad ones and all that, but for this team to come away, with this type of win, it gives coaches an opportunity to coach. And it gives us a chance to correct the mistakes and the players to learn from them. So that, one, we don't make them again, and two, it's hard to win in this league. This is the NFL, and it's hard. And proud of the guys for sticking with it.
Well, all the attention in the offseason was all about the offense, but the defense really stood up today. What did you like about the way your defense performed?
Defense kept us in this football game, honestly. I really thought they did a nice job with a really good young quarterback in Anthony Richardson. I saw today, you saw growth in him just in a week, and how we kind of corralled him. Yeah, he's going to get his yards on scrambles and some of the designer things, but we did a nice job of keeping him, on the ground and really controlling the run game there, and creating takeaways, and then obviously the big, fourth down, stand there at the end of the game. But I thought overall Josh Allen played well,
yes.
Today stepped up and played well, and Foye, leader of that defense, stepped up. I mean, there's a handful of guys, right? But collectively they played really well.
Last thing, so the offense finally got it together. It was sputtering, but it figured it out in the fourth quarter. How you feel about overall the way the offense performed?
Overall, I was pleased the way we finished today in that fourth quarter. A couple big scores there in the second half late, and it wasn't perfect by no means. Tyler Shatley comes in and fills in for Brandon there late, did a nice job, and again, we're not well oiled. We're not there yet, but at the same time, there were some good things. There were some good connections with Trevor and Calvin, and Zay made a huge play on fourth down for us, and just enough there. Listen, you play a Gus Bradley team.
Yeah,
it's a nickel and dime. It's nickel and dime, and it's tough sledding even in the run game. So, my hat's off to the guys for really sticking with the plan and trusting everybody with it.
Man, well, good luck. It was great. You celebrated this week. Did we get ready for Kansas City next weekend?
Yep, got a big one next week, a home opener. So we'll put this one to bed tomorrow and get ready for that one.
Cool. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, Buck.
That's head coach Doug Peterson with Bucky Brooks in Indianapolis after a Jaguars win 31-21 over the Colts. Timeout. When we come back, defensive play of the game. Plenty more ahead. Reviewing a Jaguars victory in Week 1 on the road, a place they haven't won in a while. Lost 9 of the last 10 times in it.
First game, reaction?
So happy we got the win. I'm a win first type of player. I go out there. I don't want to play good, but I want to win the games. It feels so good. We work so hard all week and all camp. To go out there, and I thought it was fun, and obviously we got to get way better, but I thought it was fun, and we got the W.
You talked Thursday about wanting to be calm going in. Did you achieve that, or were there some?
Yeah, I achieved that. I was pretty calm. I was relaxed. I felt I was pretty relaxed.
How much did it mean to you to get off to the start that you did after frankly so much time off?
It didn't mean that much, honestly, to be real honest. I just love this team, man. I worked so hard with them. I just want to win with them. Just want to get the W's. I think, I want to play in meaningful games. I want to win. I think we're going in the right direction, and I just think that's the most important part.
Week 1, what did you learn about kind of what you guys are all about?
Yeah, we knew we were a good team and played a good defense. They played their butts off, but we know that we got to get better. And in those situations, we should have scored more points. We should have been in better situations. And that comes with that was our first game, but I feel like we just we're still getting better. We're still learning each other. Obviously, but I like where we are. That was good.
Anything else?
Perfect.
All right, thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.
You can expect value pricing from the get-go and guaranteed best financing options. You can also find us online at travelcamp.com. Our mission is simple: to help more families make more great memories in an RV. Travel Camp RV. We've had the pleasure of doing this since 1982.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in New Orleans and Pittsburgh. Watch them win in Houston and Nashville. All the other Jaguars games are just one short connection away. And if airport parking has you stressed, be sure to visit the Jax Airport website before traveling to the terminal. On it, you'll find information about the status of on-airport parking in real time. See if your favorite areas are available or if you need to call an audible. Visit flyjax.com for more information.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios. Jaguars 31, Colts 21. The Jaguars score the most points ever in any road game at Indianapolis in either stadium, at RCA Dome or Lucas Oil Stadium. The previous high was 27 three different times.
Yeah.
They were 2-1 in those games. They get a win today with 31 points on the board.
And I think that's the expectation is, the old Jaguars teams, 27 points was a lot. It was like the maximum range for those because they were focused on the ground game. And some of those games, most of those games involved Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew and that really good defense that they had. This time around, this offense is going to be expected to score near 30 points on a regular basis. And you can see, JP, that there are players to get the job done. I'll say it again. 1 catch, 2 targets for Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen every week. Zay Jones made some plays. Evan Ingram made some plays. Calvin Ridley made some plays. So the Chiefs are going to look at the tape and they're going to go, okay, we got to work here. And there's going to be some room for him to get open. Also, I think another avenue for them to score points is Travis Etienne as a receiver, right? You saw him with a couple of nice catches today too. So there are plenty of ways for them, but gone are the days of, 27 points would be nice. I think the expectation around here is going to be they only scored 27.
That's it.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Right.
There were obviously some short yardage
In here now? Oh. Yeah, right. Give him Amanda's number.
Yeah, ready to go. Your overall thoughts on pulling that one out, Trevor?
It feels good to win. First season opener of one here. So it feels good, especially in this stadium. You haven't had a ton of success over here lately. So it feels good. That's a good team. Presented some challenges for us, offensively. Pretty sloppy game. Obviously some good points in the game for us. We made some plays. We ended up making the plays we had to make to win. Defense really kept us in the game, I thought. So only giving up 14 points. We put them in a bad spot a few times where they got some huge stops, some, turnover on downs, some turnovers. It was big. It was great to see them pick us up when we needed it. Obviously, it wasn't a super clean game offensively. There's a lot of things to clean up, but, can't be too upset with a win. It's hard to win in this league and division game too, so that's big for us. Good start.
You chalk that up kind of, not maybe all the way, but just week one. Everything's kind of new. Do you kind of cast a little of that aside because of week one?
Yeah, week one is more challenging sometimes for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes defenses might do things a little differently. Not to say that the Colts did. I think they stuck to who they were, and they just did a really good job of making things difficult up front for us. Those guys, that's one of the best fronts, especially interior, in the whole NFL. Those guys are really good. They make it challenging for you. So they do some really good things. Their back end played sticky. They did a good job. They're really sound.
They did a good job. They put us in a lot of second and third and longs, and that's harder, obviously, from an offensive perspective. Your call sheet shrinks a lot when that happens. So we got to do a better job of being efficient on first down. We got to be better on third down. Got to be better on fourth down. I mean, all the downs. So, but yeah, obviously it's a lot better to be able to win, to learn from a win than a loss. So it's still a win's a win.
What do you, Trevor? You had that odd play where you were going for a fumble and then Tank got the ball and maybe
Yeah, crazy play.
But then he comes back and scores a go-ahead touchdown. Did you or anybody kind of directly remind him that, hey, put the fumble behind him? We're ahead now?
I think everybody kind of rallied behind him. Obviously, kind of a weird play. It's like it's tough. Obviously, you get hit and you don't know if it's a fumble or incompletion. And you know, we teach our guys treat every loose ball like it's a fumble because that. And he even recovered it and then just standing there and they punched the ball out because the ref didn't blow the whistle. So that's a crazy play and one to learn from. It's a shame having to a rookie because that would have been a tough play for anyone, really. You recover it and then you end up getting it punched out. So, yeah, just you learn from it, you move on, and that just shows the faith that we have in him to put the ball back in his hands there and, you know, to give us that big touchdown to go up 10 at the end. So doesn't concern me. He's going to keep learning. Obviously, he's a rookie, and I think he did some good things today. So we'll keep getting better.
What did you Doug said that the end of this game kind of felt a little bit like some of the end of games late in the season. You guys would have some up and down early, and then you were able to finish. Feel like that at all to you?
I mean, a little bit. Obviously, I think we started the game better. Besides the first drive, we had a 3-and-out, you know, which you want to start better than that. But, you know, we scored a couple touchdowns early, put a little pressure on them. They answered. Then our defense really bowed up. And then we just got sloppy in that kind of the second and third quarter, even the beginning of the fourth. We just got sloppy, and I think we could have taken advantage of more things out there and really put ourselves in an even better position, obviously, going into the end of the game just to put them away. And we didn't do that. But it's hard in the NFL. Like I said, they're not going to lay down. You know, they got the same job we do, and they're going to make it challenging for us. And it's a good football team. And, so it was a good game. And obviously it's better when you can find a way to win.
Trevor, so much about the positive publicity in this preseason has been tailored toward the offense, the feeling that this offense is better than it's supposed to be. But today, it just felt like the defense in the second quarter, when those 3 consecutive stops kind of set the tone and maybe, you know, I don't want to say bailed you guys out, but certainly complimented you in a big way.
They played great, yeah. I mean, that's the game. It's 3 phases. It's not about – if it was all about the offense, you know, we would have been in trouble today, you know, and same thing in different games if it was all about the defense, you know. So it's we pick each other up, we feed off one another. That's what makes teams great, and we got to continue to do that. There's going to be a week where we're going to have to pick our defense up. This week, they got some huge stops for us that we really needed. You know, we had some bad possessions in a row, and they were able to come through and get a turnover on downs, just get a stop, make a punt, whatever it was. They played great. Hats off to them. I think they played with that chip on their shoulder, like you want your defense to, and it was cool to see them fly around and make some huge plays for us.
It's been a couple of years, but do you remember your first start in the NFL? Obviously, with Anthony Richardson today, some good, some bad. Did you get to catch up with him after the game? And then what did you think of him on the field? If you got it?
Yeah, I thought he made some great plays. Obviously, it's being a rookie quarterback. It's a tough spot. There's a lot of learning you have to do, and it's just every week learning and getting better. And the only thing I told him after the game was great game. He made some unbelievable plays, but just try to protect yourself. You know, the hits add up in this league, and they're a little different than in college, so I just told him to protect himself. And, you know, I'm excited to watch his career unfold. I think he's going to be a great player, and obviously we'll see him again later in the season. But that was my only message to him, really, just protect yourself. It's a long season, and I think he's going to be a great player.
You just sort of assume that Shadrick can be able to do whatever you ask him to do.
Yeah, obviously today, you know, I can't really state how valuable it is to have a guy like Shat, not only on the field, but just the guy he is off the field. Such a good leader, consistent. I mean, one of the most consistent guys in our team. Doesn't matter if he's a starter, if he's not starting, if he's a swing guy, whatever. He comes to work the same way, and that's why you need a guy like that. And he's so valuable for us. He can play center, he can play either guard. You know, he did a great job filling in when he needed to.
What did you make of Calvin Ridley's performance? Obviously, touchdown, 100-something yards.
It's great. Not a surprise to me. So I don't think it was to anybody, but he played great. It was cool to see him. Obviously, in his first game back, I'm sure he was amped up and ready to go, and just to play well and make some huge plays for us. It was awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's 2.7-liter high-output turbo engine, delivering 430 pounds per foot of torque with no compromised durability. Impressive power, whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends.
Thanks!
This is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And most importantly, this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today for a test drive. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC continues. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton, glad you're with us. We're in the Hyundai Studios after a Jaguars win in Indianapolis, 31-21 final score. Time now for the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. There were plenty of options today. Let's go with a late interception from Tyson Campbell.
Dropping, fires deep downfield, and that ball is intercepted by Tyson Campbell. He picked it off. He picked it off at the 43-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts.
That was the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. Let the pros tackle the pests in your home by going to kingfishpest.com. That's kingfishpest.com. Plenty of options today.
Yeah, hard to argue with that one, obviously, but Josh Allen had 10 tackles,
yes,
3 sacks, a couple of other quarterback hits. I mean, it was a monster game for a guy who told anybody. I know he told you this too. He was betting on himself in August. And when you start off the season with 3 sacks, you're off to a good start. Foye Oluokun, I mean, league's leading tackler the last 2 years, trying to become the first player since, 70 or 71 to do it 3 years in a row. It's not an official stat, so it's not something that goes in the record books, But the Jaguars put the number of tackles in, and when they give it next to all the other teams, he had more. So I'd say Foye Oluokun's 12 tackles today. And then the other guy who I thought really played well was Trayvon Walker. He had 6 tackles, and most of those were right at the line of scrimmage in the running game. He had a sack at the end of the first half and another tackle for a loss. I thought he was all over the place. So a lot of guys played well, and Andre Cisco had 10 tackles today.
Yeah, his hit at the end on Anthony Richardson knocked him out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Really hard-hitting safety. And so, hey, that's a really good defensive day.
Yeah, they really did. They played well, and the numbers will all say it, but your eyes can tell you that. I mean, you saw that the Jaguars found a way to answer the Anthony Richardson thing. And, you look at the numbers, and the Colts finished the day with 65 rushing yards, but it's the average. And, look, take away Anthony Richardson's yards, and Deion Jackson had a 1.1 per carry average, right? I mean, they did a really nice job in making Anthony Richardson put it all on his shoulders. And there was a time where he looked like, well, maybe he's going to be able to do something. But then when the game really came down to it, the Jaguars defense closed the door.
Let's take a look at the Everbank final stats, and starting with the team statistics, total yardage in favor of the Jaguars, 342 to 280. Rushing yardage, 105 to 65 in favor of the Jaguars. Passing net yardage, 237 to 215 in favor of the Jags. Jaguars finished the day 3 of 12 on third down. The Colts finished the day 2 of 12 on third down and 1 of 5 on fourth down in the game. The penalties, 4 for 45 yards against the Jags, 4 for 35 yards against the Colts. The turnovers, the Jaguars 2 of them. The Colts had 3 of them. And time of possession in favor of the Jags, 33 minutes, 37 seconds in this one. Trevor Lawrence, 24-32 passing, 241 through the air, 2 touchdowns and an interception. ETN, 18 carries, 77 yards, a touchdown. Calvin Ridley led the way receiving on 11 targets, 8 catches, 101, and a touchdown, but only 1 second-half catch. You mentioned the defensive stats. Oluokun, Allen, Cisco really leading the way defensively for the Jaguars statistically.
Can I give you another? He only had 3 tackles, and one of those was on the quarterback. Should have been a sack, but the quarterback, Richardson, flipped the ball away. Foley Fatukasi, who was out after the first quarter of the first preseason game. We didn't see him again. He was strong inside. And we talked about playing without Devon Hamilton.
Yeah.
He was really solid. Adam Gotsis was solid. Roy Robertson Harris, really good. They didn't get the kind of pressure that you'd like, but they really held up strong at the line of scrimmage.
We'll come back. We'll pick a Jaguars Radio Network player of the game. Plenty more ahead after a Jags win in Week 1. It's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning today. Get up to $1,750 back and a free Nest thermostat when Florida Home buys back your old inefficient HVAC system. Expert technicians and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Florida Home today. Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
FloridaHomeAC.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today. Official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios. Jags 31, Colts 21. Most points the Jaguars have ever scored in Indy, ever, either stadium. They get it done today. Defense played well, held their own. They rallied back late. The punt return really flipped the game from Jamal Agnew. I'm leading into this. Building up to the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game
I'm
voting.
following you.
Well, here's the rules, Brian.
Okay.
I know you're new. Welcome.
Thank you.
I get a vote.
Yeah.
You get a vote.
Right.
And Tony gets a vote and a half since Fred's not with us tonight to break any ties.
Vote and a half?
Just to break any ties.
Does that meet parliamentary procedures?
No.
Okay.
But we don't care.
All right.
I'm going to start, though. And
Great.
I'm going to
Go
start with any day that you have 3 sacks in a National Football League game, you are a candidate for an award like this. And I think Josh Allen is at least my nominee because of that 3-sack day. And I don't care how they came, how many yards they came, considering all the noise around him this offseason and going into his 5th and final year of his rookie contract. This is a big start for him today.
He had 2 other big hits in the backfield
That's
on
right.
Deion Jackson where he actually lifted him up, decleating is what they call it, and put him on his back. So Josh Allen was a force, and it's tough to say that that he's not, but I will since you already did.
Well, who are you voting for?
I'm going for Agnew. I think that 48-yard return into Colts territory in the 4th quarter, right after the Jaguars had failed to get a 4th down, and what was it, a ham sandwich, right? And they just and Trevor came up just short, and you're thinking they may not have it today. And then all of a sudden you give them the ball, and your defense stonewalls them. They punt, and here's Jamal Agnew catching it on the bounce. I think that if they had settled for the ball inside the 10-yard line, they might not have won the ball game. And yet Agnew flipped the script and put him in a position to go down. Bixby gets him up 24-21. From that point, they don't trail again. So I think Jamal Agnew's 48-yard punt return was the play of the game. So I'm making him the player of the game, especially with the timing of that play. He is a critical player for this team.
And it could happen a few times this year. In a game where they're in a deadlock or they can't break through or it's really tight, I mean, a game, something like that can change it. Either he takes one to the house or he flips the field, and he's already done it 1 out of 1 game.
I just can't get out of my head that if the Jaguars had to face that defensive front inside their own 10-yard line, this would not be a happy post-game show. So I'm going with Agnew.
Tony Smith, you want to break this deadlock for us?
Yeah, I guess I am breaking the deadlock. I'll say it would have been Calvin Ridley if he had been able to keep his feet in bounds on that second one, right? If he had scored 2 touchdowns in the first half of the game, he's likely going to get all the votes for the player of the game here this afternoon, but he didn't. Josh Allen, as you said, JP, I mean, 3 sacks today for a guy who's been the brunt of so much of the criticism from the fan base over the course of the entire offseason, right? He's going into this 5th-year option. We'll see what it looks like next offseason as to whether the choice is going to be the long-term deal. Is he going to have to play under the franchise tag? All these different things. This guy can't get the double-digit sacks. Well, he's off to a fantastic start on the way to doing that this year. 3 sacks, as you said, Brian. Also a couple of big hits in the backfield as well. A great game for him today. He gets my vote for player of the game.
All right,
there you go.
By voting, Josh Allen is the Jaguars Radio Network player of the game.
What's he get? Like a Snickers ice cream bar or something?
They're everywhere in the building right now, apparently, so we got plenty of those. 10 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 quarterback hits for Josh Allen. He gets it done today. And if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capabilities and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I say there's plenty of those around the building, but maybe not after we've been in here for about 5 hours. There might be a few less.
I saw them. I was going to volunteer to go and get one for him. I'd leave it in his locker over in the Miller Electric Center.
We can probably get that done. Let's come back in a moment with the Baptist Health Injury Report. Jaguars over the Colts 31-21, and it's Jaguars post-game on Jaguars Radio.
Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Florida Home Air Conditioning today. Get up to $1,750 back and a free Nest thermostat when Florida Home buys back your old inefficient HVAC system. Expert technicians and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Florida Home today. Florida Home Air Conditioning, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit FloridaHomeAC.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
FloridaHomeAC.com.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Milquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from the very onset, and we just have a degree of unity and cohesive care that is hard to match. It's especially with the tougher cancers that we really excel.
Appointments available now. Call 844-632-2278.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour, weekend brunch, and nightcap on Friday and Saturdays from 10 until midnight. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale, 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's 2.7-liter high-output turbo engine, delivering 430 pounds per foot of torque with no compromised durability. Impressive power, whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends.
Thanks!
This is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And most importantly, this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today for a test drive. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet.
Jaguars fans, huddle up. Do you own a vehicle made in the last 10 years? If your car is outside of factory warranty or with no warranty coverage, get the best defense against expensive auto repairs with CarShield, the official auto protection partner of the Jaguars. With plans to fit every budget, CarShield helps you cover up to 5,000 parts and systems. Call 800-471-1223 now or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. That's 800-471-1223 or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. Go Jags!
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC continues. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios. Jaguars over the Colts 31-21. The injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Two notable ones today. Gregory Jr. left the game early with a hamstring injury. Brandon Scherff in the third quarter with a right ankle injury, came back in the game for a short time and then left the game again. Tyler Shatley finished out the game at right guard, and we'll obviously hopefully get an update on that moving forward. It's a good sign at least that he tried to go back out and walked off under his own power. It looked pretty bad. The guys are waving right away to come on out, but he walked off. He was carted back into apparently the underneath, and then came back out and into the game for a moment. So we'll see what happens with that one.
I'm not sure it'll do anyone any good for me to try to be Kevin Kaplan here, but that looked like a lateral ankle sprain, right? Because it was down low.
You beat me. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to a high ankle sprain,
okay,
which is a long-term injury. So this seemed to me, 30 years of watching this and staying at Holiday Inn Express occasionally, it seemed to me to be the kind of thing that he could rebound from depending on his healing ability, right? I mean,
we know the toughness of him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he played through what he did last year with the core stuff going on, and finished out the season and then had surgery after the season, that if it's close to him being a go, he's going to give it a go.
Yeah,
that's just his personality.
Okay,
so there you go. That is the Baptist Health injury report. Back in a moment, a preview of next week. The Chiefs are coming to town. Big ball game here in Jacksonville. It's Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Hey, Jags fans. Everbank is driven by performance, strength, and security. Start building your legacy today with Everbank's Yield Pledge accounts, all of which deliver a yield in the top 5% of competitive accounts nationwide. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars for your earned advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today. Official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville. Jags win it over the Colts 31-21. Good resilient win for this Jags team today. Battling back and forth and then finally overcoming and overtaking the Colts in the fourth quarter late and getting the job done.
I think it's fair to say this is a game the Jaguars were supposed to win. Right? And even then, you can look at the scores around the league today, and you can see that there are games between teams where the team that was supposed to win, how about Minnesota playing at home against Tampa and Baker Mayfield? Was Minnesota supposed to win? Yeah, they were supposed to win. So for the Jaguars, who at times didn't look like they were up to it, they won a game they were supposed to win. They didn't play clean, but it's a measuring stick for a team that won their final five regular season games. So this is 6 consecutive regular season games, and all of us can remember that time where we were talking about 20 consecutive losses. Remember that?
Wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't all that long ago. So the carryover from one to the other, take it. Doug is right, and I know people know this intrinsically. Winning really is difficult on the road in the NFL, on opening day in particular. So beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, the Jaguars are 1-0. Doesn't matter how it came, and they are undefeated.
I like that even better. The last time they were 1-0 was 2020.
Next week, the Kansas City Chiefs come to town. They are 0-1. They lost on Thursday night to the Detroit Lions. There will be questions, of course, about the tight end and the defensive tackle and their availability for this game.
Well, right now, I mean, Chris Jones is not signed, right? And you'd think that if they don't get something done in the next 48 hours and he doesn't show up for practice on Wednesday, even if they sign him, I mean, how many snaps do you want to give a guy who hasn't been with you for, the entirety of the preseason and the regular season? So they can both stay home as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you know what Kelsey is, and we saw that firsthand numerous times.
Can I mention this? Chris Jones should be hailed as a hero when he walks in the door here, because had he not planted Nick Foles and ruined the Jaguars' 2019 season, we might not see Trevor Lawrence as a Jaguar today. That's how narrow this league can be. That ruined the Jaguars' season, and Foles didn't come back. We all thought that they were going to be, roughly at least a 500 team with Nick, and they'd never be in contention for Trevor Lawrence. So I say, thanks, Chris, but take the day off.
Pretty wild how it works out. That's for sure. For those on our flagship station, 1010XL in Jacksonville, stick around. The Scoreboard Show is coming up next. VP of Production, Patrick Cavanaugh. Executive Producer, Dave DeCandis. Manager of Radio, Joe Fortunato. Linda Fortunato, Tony Smith, Donna Murphy are our studio producers. Brent Reber, Trent Padilla, Gabby Dalton, David Cho, Max Hockman producing our video for Jaguars.com. Andrea Curry as well. William Pease handles the podcast. Kate Waskey on advertising. For our entire crew, I'm JP Shadrick saying good night. Final score, Jaguars 31, Colts 21 on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome to the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. This is your chance, Jaguars fans, to sound off about today's game. Now, waiting to hear from you, here are Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks, and JP Shadrick.
Welcome in, Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton. No Mike Dempsey this week. He'll rejoin us next week after the Chiefs game. Bucky Brooks will get out to him as well. No phone calls tonight. Phone lines are down.
No Bucky, no Mike, no phone.
Just me and you, Brian.
I love it, baby.
So apologies for that. Phone lines down here at Jaguar Central tonight. Sorry, Sakib, you're always the first one in. We'll try to get you in next week. I think he's been the first one in for about 26 years, probably. It's all good, though. Jaguars win 31-21 over the Indianapolis Colts. This game had a lot. I mean, a lot going on. Fourth down tries, fourth down failures for both teams. The Jaguars found a way to get the ball to Calvin Ridley a lot in the first half, but then he was slowed in the second half. Zay Jones made an incredible catch. There was a huge punt return to set up a big turning point late in the game for the Jaguars. Tank Bigsby, ups, downs. I mean, there's a lot to dissect here in week one.
So what do you want? You want the good, or do you want the reason why it wasn't so good at times? Where do you want to start?
Well, we've got about 45 minutes to go over all of it. Okay, so let's start with the good.
All right, the good is that a football team that struggled, especially in the third quarter, right? Last year, the Jaguars, and they showed this on TV, but the Jaguars were amongst the best in the league in the third quarter in terms of the points they scored and the way they played defense and the differential between the two. They were number one in the league. But today, they went 3 and out on the first series, and then they settled for a field goal, and then they had a turnover. I mean, they unraveled, and things went south fast. In fact, the turnover became a touchdown, and they were losing the ball game at the end of the third quarter. And we had talked about, hey, you're up 14-7 at the half. Can you get down the field, put some points on the board, put the pressure on the quarterback? But instead, the Jaguars put the pressure on themselves. Now, the good news is, in the fourth quarter, man, They came through. Jamal Agnew with the 48-yard punt return. Trevor takes him down the field. They retake the score. Tyson Campbell comes up with the interception. They go down and score. Hell, they even had a 4th down stand, right? Mm-hmm. Inside the goal line.
Big.
Well, not inside the goal, inside the 2-yard line.
Big.
On the goal line. And they preserved the victory 31-21. So that's the good. They found a way to win on a day that they didn't play their best football. And you heard Doug Peterson in the postgame show say, you're not a well-oiled machine on week 1. It's tough to win on the road in the NFL, especially in a place where they haven't won very often, where they haven't scored 31 points ever. There's plenty to like.
There's a lot to like about this Jaguars win, and there's a lot more ways to go through the bad after a W and get a lot out of it. You'd rather go through it that way. So.
Well, yeah, because you can at least correct mistakes with the, hey, guys, if we had just done this, we wouldn't have had such a close game. And the area that I was concerned about, and I think most people who watched it, is the offensive line did not play very well. We knew that the front seven, JP, was very good. Preston Buckner is a game wrecker. Grover Stewart is a really big body inside. Kwity Paye, former first-round pick. In fact, Paye, Walker, and Allen, all first-round picks, right? All guys who their teams wanted to see pressure from, all came away with sacks today.
They did.
Josh came away with 3. And then the offensive line is not creating room to move, and then you lose Brandon Scherff. I thought the play that said it all was 4th down and, the length of your cell phone to get a first down in the 4th quarter with 12:55 to play, and Trevor comes up short. And you thought, man, they just can't do it today. And then, after the 48-yard return, they were able to create some holes, right? Mm-hmm. Tank Bixby scores. They did some good things. They protected the quarterback better. But they were just not very good today, and that remains now the question about this football team as it was when the preseason ended.
Plenty ahead. We're recapping this Jaguars win over the Indianapolis Colts, 31-21. Again, no phone calls tonight. Phone lines down here at Jaguars Central, but back in just a moment. We are off and running after a Jags victory on the road in Indianapolis. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a parking spot? Join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to Everbank Stadium is on JTA's Game Day Express. Shuttles run from various locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage near downtown. Buy single game or season passes exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app starting at just $10. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
The game may be over, but the excitement is just beginning. The Jaguars played a great game, and J-Tech is proud to be part of a community that supports our team. But before we go, let's take a moment to talk about an important part of our community, tradesmen and women. J-Tech believes that everyone deserves the opportunity to learn valuable skills and build a successful career. They're proud to support the Jaguars and our community by offering high-quality trades education. Learn more at jtech.org.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too, former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to Scoreboard Show. Continues. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton. No Mike Dempsey this week. He'll be back next week. No phone calls tonight. Phone lines are down, but the Jaguars win at 31-21 over the Indianapolis Colts. And the Jags are now 1-0, and they're in pretty good shape in the AFC with some of these early scores in Week 1. A lot of football left this season. I'm not, putting them in there. Right? Yeah, long way to go, but a good start.
To December, you look back and go, hey, that was a pretty important win on opening day if you're a game ahead.
Yeah, or, hey, Cincinnati, big AFC loss today.
Of all the scores that I've seen, that was the one. Not that Cleveland isn't a good team. I think most people expected that they would be with their defense and running game. But to see Joe Burrow's numbers in the court, look at this. Listen to this. Joe Burrow, 14 of 31, less than 50% completions, 82 yards, and a 52.2 passer rating. Obviously, no touchdowns because they didn't score any, and no interceptions either. That's Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase, could I make the case for him being the number one wide receiver in football? Yeah. 5 catches for 39 yards. And T. Higgins, no catches. 8 targets, no catches. It makes me want to go and look at the tape and see which cornerback in particular. I mean, I know Denzel Ward is a tremendous, but he's short. Yeah. He's 5'9". Did he play that well? Who knows? But that was a really confusing. If you're a Bengals fan and you just paid Joe Burrow $219 million guaranteed, $55 million a season, and you get this on opening day, you're less than satisfied.
This is a game that we'll see how obviously the rest of the season goes, but AFC losses, teams that are supposed to be in the mix for the number one or a high seed, when it comes down to seeding, you might rewind to this one at some point if the Bengals are in the mix down the stretch. But because Cleveland got them today 24-3. Jaguars got them in Indy today 31-21 with a nice W to start it off. Trevor Lawrence in this game today making his 2023 debut, his third season, second in this offense, and he finished 24 of 32 passing, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. The interception went through Bigsby's hands, was tipped up and picked off. Lawrence had 7 carries in the game for 21 yards on the ground, and, including a key kind of read option keeper a couple times to move the sticks, and we know he has that in his arsenal if he needs it. It's not the number one priority, but Trevor overall today, what'd you think?
Well, 75% completion, right? So he was a guy. Here's what I think. I think when the game mattered and he got the ball at the end there after the Agnew return, he went to work, right? He scrambled 11 yards, wisely slid, something that Anthony Richardson's obviously going to have to learn from as he left the game late. But he scrambles for 11 yards. Fourth down on that drive, that critical fourth down completion to Zay Jones, and then, following Tank Bigsby into the end zone. I think a guy can have a bad game, but if he plays well in absolute crunch time, it's a pretty good game. 75% completion, 2 touchdowns. He's self-critical. He's going to be the first guy in the meeting to go, I need to do this, I need to do that. Nobody worries about him. I think he'll be more than just fine.
He did lose a fumble today.
Was that credited to him? Or?
Well, there were 2 fumbles in the same play, remember? So the sack fumble and then the Bigsby fumble were both credited on the same play. How about that? And DeForest Buckner forced the first fumble, recovered the second fumble, and took it back for a touchdown.
30 years in this game, I don't think I've ever seen that.
It was a weird one.
Yeah, it was a strange play.
Really strange. But Lawrence today, as we said, 24 of 32 passing. Ridley was his favorite target all day.
Boy, did he look good.
11 targets, 8 catches, 101 through the air, a touchdown. most of that in the first half.
He had that big completion. It was about 28 or 29 yards. It was called back in the third quarter because of the holding penalty against Walker Little. Otherwise, his day would have been even more impressive.
Yeah, really good start for him. Zay Jones had a great catch for Trevor in the end zone.
My goodness, what a catch.
Off balance, 2 hands on it, 1 knee down, held on to possession through the catch to
really
the ground.
Reminded me of that great touchdown he had in Nashville last year where he just scratched just the last little blade of green grass. We saw it on the pylon cam. He's tremendous.
This Jaguars offense gets it done today when they needed to.
31 points. And if I had told you that they would score 31 points and Christian Kirk would have 1 catch for 9 yards and they would have 3 of 12 third down conversions, would you have said they would score 31 points?
It's tough to say that, right?
Yeah.
They won the turnover battle. That was the key, obviously, to get the ball back a couple times, especially late. Flipped the field on a punt return, and there you go.
So it didn't feel like they were explosive, but had you asked anybody, if the phones worked and anybody called, and you had said, hey, would 31 points qualify as explosive? Well, let's just ask our crew here. Linda, does 31 points count as explosive to you? You've been in the studio since 1995. Yes. Yes. Donna? Yes. Tony? You better believe it. All right.
Yes, 3 for 3.
So they were explosive, right?
30 points.
But it didn't feel that way, which goes to show the potential of this offense.
31 points per game would have led the league last year. So no matter how you get them.
Hey, all of a sudden I feel better, JP. Thanks.
That's right. So to your point, there's still room to grow for this Jags team after a win today, 31-21 over the Colts. Back with plenty more ahead, recapping this one. Jaguars get it done. They're 1-0 to start the season, and this is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Jaguars fans, huddle up. Do you own a vehicle made in the last 10 years? If your car is outside of factory warranty or with no warranty coverage, get the best defense against expensive auto repairs with CarShield, the official auto protection partner of the Jaguars. With plans to fit every budget, CarShield helps you cover up to 5,000 parts and systems. Call 800-471-1223 now or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. That's 800-471-1223 or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. Go Jags!
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your Workforce Solutions Reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Melquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from the very onset, and we just have a degree of unity and cohesive care that is hard to match. It's especially with the tougher cancers that we really excel.
Appointments available now. Call 844-632-2278.
The game may be over, but the excitement is just beginning. The Jaguars played a great game, and J-Tech is proud to be part of a community that supports our team. But before we go, let's take a moment to talk about an important part of our community, tradesmen and women. J-Tech believes that everyone deserves the opportunity to learn valuable skills and build a successful career. They're proud to support the Jaguars and our community by offering high-quality trades education. Learn more at jtech.org.
Hey, it's Salem from Travel Camp RV, the official RV dealer of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wanted to personally invite you to come shop with us. With locations throughout the Southeast, we're likely not far from you. We offer the nation's top RV brands. You can expect value pricing from the get-go and guaranteed best financing options. You can also find us online at travelcamp.com. Our mission is simple, to help more families make more great memories in an RV. Travel Camp RV. We've had the pleasure of doing this since 1982.
Welcome back. It's the Scoreboard Show after a Jaguars win over the Colts, 31-21. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton, glad you're with us. Jags are 1-0. They're coming back home next week to face the Kansas City Chiefs, who lost on Thursday. Some other division teams in action earlier today, Brian, and the Baltimore Ravens blasted the Houston Texans 25-9. C.J. Stroud's debut, 28 of 44 passing, 242 for the Texans. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Stroud ran 4 times for 20 yards in the game, but the Ravens got the win there in Baltimore. And looking at the Tennessee Titans on the road, New Orleans got the win today at the Superdome, 16-15 over the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill, 16 of 34 passing, 198, 3 interceptions in the game. Henry held to 63 yards on 15 attempts.
Well, let's go back to the Texans game real quick, because I would have thought, knowing the numbers for rookie quarterbacks who throw the ball 40 times in a game, let alone their first game, that they would have leaned more heavily on Dameon Pierce, right? Who last year was a revelation for them, the former Florida Gator, only carried the ball 11 times today for 38 yards. And you've got Stroud throwing the ball 44 times. And it's not like he has DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why am I forgetting Johnson? Andre Johnson.
All right.
Right? It's not like he has one of those receivers.
No, he does not. No.
He does not.
No.
So 44 throws seems to be way over the top for a guy like that. But, maybe that's the style of play they're gonna use, and they figured it was the best way to go with it. But if he throws the ball 44 times in 2 weeks, when the Jaguars see him, they'll lose.
Yeah, and they're facing the Ravens today too. That's a heck of a team to have to make your debut against.
And it was 15-6 midway through
the third
quarter.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was a blowout game.
It's a 2-score game at that point.
They went in with the idea that they just weren't going to run the ball very much, and they stayed with it. I was really interested also in the Titans game. Yep. Obviously, they're the one team in this division that you look at and say, that's still Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill wasn't too long ago, one of the higher-paid, more efficient guys in the league. But look, Ryan Tannehill completed less than 50% of his passes, threw 3 interceptions. DeAndre Hopkins had 7 catches. Now you think, all right, 7 catches, right? Calvin Ridley only had 8, but he had 7 for 65, which means it tells me he wasn't getting open, right? Or he wasn't running away from anybody.
And they targeted him 13 times
exactly.
in the game.
So they're going to feed a guy who can't apparently make that big play. And if he could make the big play, my guess is they would have found a way to keep him in Arizona because they are bereft of any sort of big play threat. And then there's Derrick Henry, who at one point was averaging 5 yards a carry. He finishes with a respectable 4.2 per carry average, but 15 carries and only 63 yards. The great Derrick Henry is a Hall of Fame player, but those big power backs, at some point it's done. I'm not saying it is on one game, but at some point they can't do what they've done. And we saw him a little bit slower last year, a little bit less of the running people over, the bulldozer guy. And I just think it's worth noticing over the next couple of weeks to see how he rebounds. And then here's the question. How long do you go with Tannehill?
It's a great question. That would be the third different rookie quarterback if they go with
Levis.
Will Levis.
Kentucky.
That's right. So that would be 3 in this division if Levis somehow gets in the lineup.
The Jaguars, this was my hot take on our show last week, and it was that the Jaguars will sweep the division, right? It was a hot take. You're trying to come with something for conversation. It's not all that hot when you consider the Colts and the Texans are starting rookie quarterbacks, but I was going with the idea that maybe Tannehill and Henry, who stayed this last year to kind of see if their great coach Mike Vrabel could do something, and now I'm wondering if maybe it's not all that hot of a take because those two guys may rebound next week and prove me wrong, but this week didn't get it done.
It's a big year for Vrabel too, by the way. New GM up there. Yeah. They've got a new quarterback already. What's the real future going to be?
He came into this week 50-37, right? And 2 division titles in his 4 seasons there. Mm-hmm. You just have to wonder how long they'll go with Tannehill. They're paying him, his cap figure this year is $36 million. So the owner's going to be like, you got to get me my $36 million at some point, or you got to prove to me why Malik Willis or Will Levis is going to give me more than this guy does. But you've seen it so many times where you bring in we're bringing this receiver in, and he's going to change the game, and then they just don't have it anymore. Hopkins has had some big injuries over the last couple of years, so.
They put up 15 today and lost by 16-15.
Against a Saints team that isn't great. They've got a couple more weapons than they do. I mean, I think Chris Olave's big time.
Yeah, 8 for 112 today for Olave, and Carr is veteran quarterback. He's been at it for a long time.
And you could see Michael Thomas reemerge now. If Olave's going to get all the attention, he's still a big playmaker if that ankle is healthy. And they only put up 16 points. So that does tell you something about the Titans' defense. The Titans' defense got a lot of guys back. I mean, they were totally decimated by injuries last year. So that defense might be able to lift them up. But if the quarterback throws 3 interceptions, they lose.
Arden Key in his Titans debut.
Oh, I can't wait. How do you do?
4 tackles, a sack and a half.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Pretty good day.
Money well spent for the Titans, apparently.
Apparently so. There's your look at the AFC South. We're back in a moment. Plenty more on this Jaguars win over the Colts. Phone lines are down tonight. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is hiring nurses who want to be empowered as advocates, educators, care coordinators, and leaders in exceptional patient care. They have open RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Join their nationally recognized team, where you'll serve as a central team member doing what you do best, providing exceptional patient care. Apply at careers.brooksrehab.org.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the kinetical difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your Workforce Solutions Reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars Sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars Sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars Sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Show. Phone lines down. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton. Jaguars win it 31-21 over the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Most points the Jaguars have ever scored in Indianapolis. The previous high water mark was 27 points 3 different times. They were 2-1 in those games. They scored 27 up there last year, but lost on a touchdown pass, Matt Ryan touchdown pass with 14 seconds to play to lose that game. Today, it was back and forth, but they found a way late to overtake the Colts and get it done at Lucas Oil Stadium. They had lost 9 of the previous 10 trips to Indy, but the Jaguars win today. And defense was a big reason why in this game. Total yardage, Colts held to 280 total yards in the game and 65 yards rushing for Indianapolis. You knew that was kind of going to be their real idea coming in, even without the first 2 running backs on their depth chart. Jonathan Taylor's out. The guy who's number 1 was out of the game today, Zach Moss, with a forearm issue, didn't play. So they were digging deep there anyway. And as Doug Peterson said before the game, running back by committee, well, the quarterback counts in that as well.
Yeah,
and he used his legs a lot today, and the defense had a few kind of get away from him, but we said that all week. That was going to happen.
Well, he ran the ball 10 times for 40 yards, and that's a 4.0 yard per carry average, which is good, but he only had a 12-yard scramble for a first down once. Everything else was to the sidelines,
yes,
and he got out of bounds. Now, it moved the chains or put them in a position to have second or third down and manageable, which you wanted to avoid because you wanted to give Josh and Trayvon and Caleb and the pass rushers a chance to get after him. So they did a nice job on that. And Deion Jackson was what? 1.1 per carry? Good, right? Pacheco next week for the Chiefs. We saw what he did on that 198-yard drive last week or last year. So it steps up. And then Dameon Pierce the week after. So the challenge, and then the rookie Bijan Robinson. So they're going to be challenged here the next couple of weeks to play well against the run. But it's important because, JP, you and I talked in the pregame. There's no Devon Hamilton. And Devon got the big contract because of the way he played last year and the way they were building this front around him and really dominated the action early in the lone preseason game he got into and then got hurt. And we haven't seen him since. And Doug Peterson said this week he's not sure when he'll be back. I think he's eligible to come back right around week 5. Whether he's ready or not is an entirely different story. But they got it done. Foley, Fatukasi, Adam Gotsis made some plays. I mean, I heard Ross Blacklock's name called.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And Antonio Blackson, got in there. So they're going to have to find a way to get it done by committee, stay alive, and keep the defensive line moving forward. Yeah,
they look good today. Josh Allen, 3 sacks. We talked about that, but that will be a big storyline moving ahead here. And I don't care if it's a sack for 0 yards, which one of them was, or minus whatever it is, it counts. And 3 of them in one day. That's the second tied for the second best day in Jaguars history. 4 was the record.
And there were probably 2 other sacks that he could have gotten, and Richardson was able to break away because he's 6'4", 250 pounds. But he had a hand on him, and just his momentum carried him past the quarterback. And then there were the tackles that he made on Jackson in the backfield, where he actually put him on the ground with his cleats in the air. Decleating, dead roaching, whatever you want to call, right? I mean, they put him on his back. That's an old term. When a guy's laying on his back with his arms and his legs in the air,
it makes
like
sense.
A dead roach.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Foye Lukin with 12 tackles led the way for the Jaguars. 1 quarterback hit and a pass defensed as well. Andre Sisco was all over the place today. 10 tackles, 7 solos in this game, and a forced fumble. Tyson Campbell, 6 tackles, the interception, and forced fumble as well. So guys at all different layers of this defense impacting the game.
And Foley Fatukasi, credit him. He had 3 tackles, and he had the quarterback in his grasp for a sack, and Richardson just flipped the ball out, and he didn't quite get the sack. But that's a big man, and Foley's a big man, and they collided in the backfield, and Foley won that one.
We're back in a moment. Our final thoughts after this Jaguars win over the Indianapolis Colts. Jags are 1-0, first place in the AFC South, and this is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a parking spot? Join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to Everbank Stadium is on JTA's Game Day Express. Shuttles run from various locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage near downtown. Buy single game or season passes exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app starting at just $10. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in New Orleans and Pittsburgh. Watch them win in Houston and Nashville. All the other Jaguars games are just one short connection away. And if airport parking has you stressed, be sure to visit the Jax Airport website before traveling to the terminal. On it, you'll find information about the status of on-airport parking in real time. See if your favorite areas are available or if you need to call an audible. Visit flyjax.com for more information.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Hey, it's Salem from Travel Camp RV, the official RV dealer of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wanted to personally invite you to come shop with us. With locations throughout the Southeast, we're likely not far from you. We offer the nation's top RV brands. You can expect value pricing from the get-go and guaranteed best financing options. You can also find us online at travelcamp.com. Our mission is simple, to help more families make more great memories in an RV. Travel Camp RV. We've had the pleasure of doing this since 1982.
The 2023 season is Possum. Introducing the Four-Legged Fan Club, the Jaguars' official fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital, your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners and a chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up.
Final moments of the Scoreboard Show. No calls tonight. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton, the 5th quarter, making its triumphant season debut in just mere moments.
I take it you and I are not on that.
I'm not.
Okay.
You, I don't know your schedule. Maybe you are.
No, I'm not.
I have no idea.
No, I wish them all the best of luck.
Hacker and
he just texted
Leon Searcy and Coach Campo as well. That's right.
That'll be fun. Those are great guys.
And they'll take your calls.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Oh, their phones work.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. And there's plenty to say after this game tonight. Plenty good, plenty to work on for this team, but some coaching tape out there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, and not the least among it is the offensive line. And I didn't watch it close enough. I mean, obviously, Leon coming up will be able to dissect that 6 different ways. But there was just no push in the middle. And, Luke Fortner, the second-year center who started every game last year, looked through the preseason like he'd gotten bigger and stronger, and that was the focus in the offseason. I don't know whether he played well or he didn't. I mean, that requires a real keen eye and watching the tape back and forth. So maybe Leon can give some insight in there. But, Ben Barch gave up that sack that became the strip, that became the fumble, that became the fumble again, that became the touchdown, that became the lead. If you're not following
it's
me,
a lot on one play.
It was weird. It was a strange day.
Short yardage, this is, at least last year, was not an especially great short yardage offense. They weren't really kind of built to kind of pound it in there. Bigsby had one of those touchdown runs today, and then they went wide on one of them as well with a toss, and so there'll be some questions about that.
How about some good stats, bad stats? Just glancing at it.
Mm-hmm.
Bad stat: 3 of 12 on third down. You're not going to be the Chiefs if you're 3 of 10. But red zone, which early last season was a point of contention, 3 scores inside the red zone, 3 of 3, 100%. Right? I mean, that is a really encouraging stat. Good stat, right? You won the rushing battle by 40 yards, and that's on a day that the opposing quarterback ran for 40 yards.
Yeah.
And you still found a way, to win that one.
Good stat.
Good stat.
Jags defense on 3rd and 4th down.
Yeah.
Really good. It mattered.
how about you won the turnover battle, right? Your bad stat is you had 2 turnovers. Good stat, you had 3 takeaways.
Forced 3.
Right. So there's 17 different ways to look at it. Here's one. Almost 34 minutes time of possession against a team that you knew wanted to run the ball. Good stat, right? So you can use stats in a number of different ways, but the key stats, points, turnovers, third down, there's some good ones there. Third down's not, but overall, okay.
Jaguars get it done with a final score of 31-21. Brian, a pleasure today.
I enjoyed it.
Nice to see you, man.
Yeah.
Get to hang out,
You
watch ball all day.
Yeah, we should talk more.
I feel like I never see you.
Well, for people who are local, obviously this is a local show. It feels like a college campus around here these days, right? Because some of the work is over here in the stadium and some's in the Miller Electric Center. I have my backpack. I live out of my backpack. So I'm putting it on my shoulder. I'm like, hey, I'm going off to my next class.
Yeah,
See you later.
exactly. I got to go to the history building over here.
I got jury duty tomorrow, so we'll talk Tuesday.
Okay. Enjoy that. That's Brian
Sexton. Am I disqualified by saying it on the air? Please let me be disqualified.
Oh, gosh. That's Brian Sexton. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to our entire crew, and thanks to you for listening. Stick around. The 5th quarter, making its season debut in just a matter of moments. The Jaguars make their season debut with a win, 31-21 over the Colts. This has been the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.